So welcome everyone to an Around the Block talk. And today we have Mr. Dushyant Verma. He's the founder of Good Life Project, and he's an industry veteran and worked with various firms internationally. Currently, he's based in Singapore. And I'll hand it over to you, Dushyant. We are very excited to hear what do you have to share with us.
Thanks, Pratik, and thanks for having me. It's always good to share the journey and not just and take a feedback. So whenever get a chance, that's what you do when you become when you're there on your own. Love to share ideas and see and get constant feedback. So I'm very excited to share this journey and about Good Life project. The building blocks of this is blockchain, and the idea of this presentation is exactly this: to leave you with some of the thoughts about blockchain if you're still wondering, or how to solve certain problems using blockchain. And if there are any questions, share them with me, or share them with me on an email. Would love to answer them. A bit about myself. I've been in the demand and the consumer acquisition space for the last 20 years. So that was primarily in travel and e-commerce domain. But for the last 2 years, I've been involved in this cute little project, which I'll tell you more about. So I feel and I believe around 2 years back, it was just getting started, but now it's slowly becoming mainstream. And with NFTs around the corner, I think soon this year is going to be seeing a lot of action in this space. So about Good Life project, we started about 1.5 years back, and I and 2 of my other friends, we felt really, so there was a news that we really took to the heart. We heard that about a bunch of rural people, they traveled about 1,200 kilometers on foot to be back into the village. One of the incidents was also very close to my family. My family's helpers. A family member had to come from a place in Pune and down to Bihar. So that was the genesis for us. We said that, is there anything that we can do about the villages and make it like a self-sustained, self-reliant in a way? That's how we started thinking about the project. But there were other little bits which I'll tell you about. So the idea was to create this value, a self-value creating chain, where each and every member is wholly compensated through the economics, right? So it's not an NGO, but more on the lines of a socially responsible business. Wherever when we get any amount of profit, we put it back for the development work. That's what Good Life does. So like last year, we gave to Afsar, which is around the education. And the next project that we're working on is giving women a smokeless kitchen environment that is very good for the health. So that was the second point. And the third thing is we wanted to embrace sustainability. So organic and chemical free products and people who do cultivation that way. So we identified about 7 to 8 products across India. And because of COVID, we were not able to go there, but we checked for the references. We had video call, and for some of these products, we got it lab tested just to be very sure that it is really the product that these guys are talking about. And I was amazed with the kind of treasure, the products that's available with us, especially the food products. I think it's really something to be really proud about. So this was the whole aspect we wanted to. So these are small bits and pieces, right? So you have sustainability on one side, you have you have a producer on one side, and he's doing such a fantastic product on one side, and then there is this brand which is talking to you. So how does all these pieces talk together? How do you really say that, okay, if somebody stake a claim for for an element, is that really true? And what we realized, what we realized was not was that though there has been a moment, has been a movement towards showing this element across across the universe, but it's not done in a constructive way. And I'll tell you about this problem, which I've tried to narrate, but it's a very shoddy representation of what I'm trying to say. So about 4 years back, when I went to the villages, I found these farmers and set of people, the farmer producer cooperative, are very proud about their work and the kind of products that they make, and they know that each of them have got a very different role to play. They vouch for each other's reputation and honor, and they know that if anything goes wrong, it's not just him or her, but the whole community suffers. So that collective responsibility of the reputation is taken at this community level. However, this reputation then gets lost in different parts of the chain. So when it goes to the merchant, and from there on to the different other aspects of the value chain, all of this gets lost. So is there really a way that the same gets communicated across, and especially to the end consumer who's consuming it? And in the time of COVID, our research shows that the consumer is becoming even more specific about the kind of food that he or she is eating, especially the families which have gone through COVID. They're very particular about eating, and questions about the origin of food, where it came from, is it really the right kind of food? Those questions were there. None of the brands were solving it. We said that we can stitch this piece together. But again, the problem with this kind of a trust is it's not scalable, right? It's there with few set of people. Well, one can get institutional trust, like I mean, you can get some government backing to corroborate for that, but it's not really scalable. We came up with something called a social trust score, and to be very honest, this is just because of we've not been able to go there. This has taken more time than we would actually imagine. This is like a distributed trust score, which is across all this chain, right from the consumer to the guys who are producing it, and this is like a collective trust that we wanted to ensure as a first principle in our good life value chain. So when we talk about blockchain, we talk about these coins, and if I start talking about these coins in this scenario, it'll not make sense, because for this community, these coins will not make sense at all. They are more interested in the kind of value that it can drive for the whole community, and it is more like a collective trust. So that was very critical, and then there should be transparency across all, right? So there is this community of producers and farmers, then there are these transportation agencies, then there is laboratories, and then the consumer finally who's using it. So this exchange and this value which is flowing across from one stage to the other should be like really transparent. That was the second consideration. Social trust score I just told you about, and again, let me be very honest, we still have to go very long in this, because we would want an AI, and for that you would need at least 1 million data points. We're still very far from there. But we have all the bits and pieces. And then blockchain, because we want, so blockchain and the new Web 3.0 is all about the community. It's all about people feeling a part of this whole chain and wanting to contribute in any possible manner that they can to get this going. And so therefore, we didn't want it to be centralized. and we wanted, and none of this data we wanted to be tampered, right? So that's why we chose the blockchain as an enabler for our Good Lyfe product. So this is what it looks like. So we have 3 pillars for Good Lyfe, and hopefully over a period of time we're going to get even more. Right now, our count of the farmer producer organization, which is the first pillar of the community of producers, is about 19 FPOs with about 1,500 farmers. This number will grow. We have potential of about reaching out to about 35 FPOs, but we've limited ourselves because we're focusing only on those products which can create some sort of economics where we are very sure to sell, so that the economics can be distributed across the chain, right? Then we have this our own blockchain-based traceability solution. We call it Tracks. So which has all these transactions and imprints on a UI, which everyone can look at, including consumer, using a scan. And each one is responsible for the next part of the transaction. And we've enabled transaction with the producers as well. This is the part that I was saying, where the social trust score sits, and which is again like the work in progress. And the third and the most important community is a community of advocates. So these are so how we've been able to grow in such a short time is to create such brand endorsers. So they are very passionate about the community, about this product. They're passionate about creating holistic wellness and goodness. We try to help them in every possible way, whether it is talking to the producers or giving them more arms and ammunition about the product, or through the content. We just act as facilitators, and they help us reach out to more and more people. So a bit about Tracks, which is so this is essentially a food record keeping and tracking solution. So it provides the proof of origin and captures the critical foods data from farm to home, like the manufacturing date and when the crop was produced, etc. We made it simple because we did not have too much of time to experiment, and one of the ways was looking at the IoT devices and fix that on the farm, but that was too cumbersome for us. We just went the mobile app, which was very popular, and most of the farmers that I met had it. So we devised a convenient app-based tool which could be utilized to gather data and then store and store it. So we're using Ethereum, the L2, the Polygon chain, to make the data verifiable and immutable, and then it's rendered as QR codes and web link for the end consumer to access. So this is how it works. So the FPO is the custodian of the first half of the reputation. So the whole chain is created by him. They're blockchain administrators who help him create this chain. We've tried to make it more simple, does not so that it does not become complicated. It has the farmers and the farm, and then it has the producer or the factory, and third is the warehouse where the transportation comes in. So this is like his chain. So he can have a number of people in his entity, and unless one, so for example, unless the crop moves into the factory, the whole chain does not really move. So this master admin for that community, he creates his chain, and then he appoints the specific screeners, and these screeners record the event as it's getting stored on the blockchain, and then these records are imprinted on the UI, and they're made accessible through the QR code, which is also available on the back on each of the products that go out. So what are we able to achieve with this? We are able to digitize all the records. So we are able to, so in case if there is any problem with any specific batch, we are able to trace it back to a single farmer produce, and we will be able to communicate it to him. We are able to verify. So there is an identity of the farmer as well as the producer on one platform. Especially these products also sell overseas, so it's very interesting to see. Interesting. Interesting to show it to an overseas buyer who's looking for these proof and the trust points. And thirdly, we getting a data which is right stored on the blockchain, is tamper proof, and I think that vouches for the confidence of both the producers and people who are participating in this chain about the quality of the product. So like we had those check markers, these are the top 3 ones, which is the passionate community and the transparency which uses blockchain. And I've still not ticked the social trust score. We still have to go a long way on that, but we've made some baby steps there. So the journey so far for us in a year has been quite good. We've delivered about 40,000 in revenues. And we're growing 350 quarter on quarter. We have about 12,000 on the Instagram, our community of creators and customers who buy from us. And then we are increasing our quality on the number of the FPOs. So it's a small beginning and in a very small way, but we're very excited to take each of these challenges as the necessary building block, and it's been a good journey so far. So open to any questions if you guys may have. And
Sure. Firstly, thank you very much, Dushyant, for that talk and telling us about your project. So this particular supply chain, is this operational within India at this moment?
This is operational. So we have 7 products. One in Chhattisgarh, the other one coming from Rajasthan, Gujarat, Erode, and the Lakadong turmeric, and Anglong, which comes from Meghalaya. So all the communities there, they are using this at this point in time. Right. And if you go to our website on 3 of our products will have this blockchain enabled the traces. We're currently doing an A/B test to see if it has any impact on the conversion levels that we have on the website. So it's there on the packs. What we also want to see, if people really want to have this information beforehand, so that they can make a much qualified decision.
Right. And as an end user, I think the benefit that it is offering me is that it is verified, the source of that particular product and the quality of that particular product. So how does that so from what I can think, I can draw many parallels to a cooperative like Amul or somewhere in the similar space who are doing this not on blockchain, but trying to do something similar, and now you're doing it in blockchain. So how do you draw the parallels, and where do you see the differences are?
Yeah, so I mean, they already have the trust. So the name itself has got Amul, and so therefore it's got a big name. But for you to build that trust over a period of time, or maybe so fast and across all. So, for example, we are talking about 6-7 different regions of India where it is coming from, right? It's not one community. If it is one community, it's very easy. Like what I said, people know each other. People know about the quality. They know what everyone is capable of. And then when it goes out, you can control the quality. The problem happens when you have much varied data, or people in very different parts of of the world, then how do you really assess the quality and establish a process that's transparent, that not just you but also the consumer is able to see it. The challenge for Amul would definitely be that when they're trying to go across, how do they really sanitize their value chain? Is good to, and it's easy to do in a small limited area, but when you go beyond, that's the time when it becomes very difficult.
Right, certainly. And
so I'm sure there are a lot. So this is something that we were considering earlier. You can use a supply chain solution which gives you it'll give you how is each player performing in the chain, and so therefore you can give them contribute, or they can be compensated basis that. But again, if it becomes very transactional, what we're trying to drive is like a community, which so there is a community of a farmer producer as well as the community of consumers. How do both of them meet? No one addresses this part, right? It's primarily for their own quality inspection. But is there a way of getting both of them together?
Right, certainly. So in terms of the technological challenge that might occur within this, so because the data is on blockchain, so it's immutable and it's traceable, so everyone can view it. But do you believe there's a point of failure when the data is actually being collected and entered into the blockchain? So
yes. So those are like the first, and that's a great question. Those are the like first stumbling blocks that we had. The first one that we had was our Android was much advanced Android, and it should have been made with a lower one, and then it did not upload the data like really fast. The guy was just there, and it was just. And the second part was the connectivity. So in a lot of these fields, there's no internet. So then we had to devise a build where the data would be stored, but will not be uploaded immediately. It will be uploaded only when there was viable internet, or then and then there are these other stumbling. So operationally, this whole thing is like, even we are able to break it down into this small little 3 pieces. It's like a nightmare, because one, getting people on the, because see, at the end of the day, they're just like they want to be interested in farming, and they're just farming. This is an additional thing for them. How do you really enforce that? How do you really incentivize that? So that is where the storytelling and our relationship with the FPO and all the development work that we do comes in handy. They know that when they sell more and when they do this more, it's always going to help them and provide economics across their value chain.
Right, certainly. And do you believe that moving in future or over time, so can your platform also enable, grassroots producers selling directly to the mainstream market, cutting out some middlemen? So do you see your technology in enabling that, or blockchain enabling that?
Yeah, I think that is very much possible, and what we call as the tokenization, especially on the crop side. So the potential of this is if we are able to tokenize the crops, such as all these seeds, and then they are sold not just here but in a global market, right? So they are traded, and then the physical delivery of these goods can be provided. That is very much a possibility, but that is too far out in the future for us. I think there are other problems that we can solve, and if this chain goes going, the possibility is immense. So yeah, the crops can be tokenized. Some of these produce can also be tokenized and sold in a larger market.
Sure. So if anyone from the audience would have a question. Okay, I believe we can close for the day, Dushyant. And
No
thank you.
worries.
Yeah.
So what I will encourage you guys is to join this. This is Blockchain's Center. So this is not for profit again. This is a community where we try discussing about some problems that cannot be solved by the traditional technology. And I will try to leave a link. I will send a link for you. Maybe you can circulate that at some point in time with the audience.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Dushyant, for taking out time and talking with us. And definitely, we would like to keep this association ongoing, and any further knowledge exchange is
Absolutely.
very
I'd like to know more and the kind of work that you're doing in the NFT space. So that'll be quite exciting, because I think that possibilities, that is a new world of possibilities.
Right. Definitely. Certainly.
Okay, guys, good night and
Thank
have a
you.
great weekend. Cheers.
Thank you. Same
Bye.
to you. Bye.